Christmas. It's a special time. There's magic in the air, tons of celebrations, you're forced to spend time with the family, and the most important part,
vengeance! Presents.
Hi, this is I've Pet That Pokemon, and
welcome back
to episode 7 of this Pokemon Scarlet Surprise Trade Crochet Badge Quest, where I've been surprise trading a Pokemon before each gym, Titan, and Team Starbase, and then crocheting the Pokemon we receive each time. Previously, we filled out our team of 6 with the introduction of Irina the Iron Treads. She took down her Paradox counterpart with some difficulty, and we ended the episode by catching a Donphan for trade. Like a secret Santa, I gift-wrapped Donphan and sent her on her way to some lucky person. In exchange, I received the Christmas penguin Delibird. I was 10 years old when Pokemon Gold and Silver, the generation that introduced Delibird, released here in the UK. I think there's a real parallel here between this episode and the last. Both Delibird and Donphan were Generation 2 Pokemon who both got Paradox forms in Scarlet and Violet. Donphan with the previously seen Iron Treads and Great Tusk, and Delibird with the future Paradox Iron Bundle. There's a real nostalgia happening here, and I can't help but think of Christmases past. Taking a look at this Delibird we received, the first thing I noticed is how high a level it is. This is the highest level Pokemon we've gotten so far, so no need for any training. I can just point her in the direction of our next challenge and hope that she obeys. The next thing I notice is the moveset. I was under the impression that Delibird could only learn the move Present, an absolute banger of a signature move. It's a normal type move with just 90% accuracy that deals a random amount of damage when used. It also has the chance to heal the enemy Pokemon, so there's that. I found out that Delibird can learn Drill Peck by level up in later generations. This one here obviously came from a raid and so has extra moves it could learn through TM. Before pointing Delibird towards a challenge, I want to break down the design and get this bird crocheted. Delibird has a round head attached to a sack-like body, ending with 2 round nubbins for the legs. They have 2 flipper-like wings and they have slim 2-toed feet. Their faces are covered in white feathers that spread upwards like big eyebrows. A wide beak sits between black banded eyes. The white feathers reach around the back of the head, and they also form a Santa beard that covers most of the body and almost hides a small white belly button. Most importantly, Delibird's tail is a sack. I think most people don't realise that this is a tail, but it reaches around the body and Delibird usually holds it closed, even when flying. The colours I need for this are red for the body and wings, white for the face feathers, beard, belly button and tail sack, and then yellow for the beak and feet. I think it's best, as always, to start with the head and body. I'll do these as one piece, beginning with the head and working my way down. I did think about adding a colour change to white partway down the head, but felt that the feathers would look more textured if I did them separately. I continued to work down until I have a ball shape. Pretty simple and something you've seen me do multiple times. I didn't close the bottom of the ball off, so I could increase the size again to form the neck and body. I debated on what obscure work in progress shot I should post online without giving it away too much. I decided on the ball head, a pretty sneaky trick I thought. I got a few guesses and one of my good friends actually got it right. No one, however, saw the clue to Delibird in the last video. It appears right near the start in the Terminator style scanner text. Good luck finding the clue in this video for the next Pokemon. Comment below if you find it. Going back, I work the body in a different shape to the head. While the head was spherical, the body is wider, so I add increases to my stitches on opposite ends to reach that effect. I stuff as I go and continue down the body, making it a lot wider near the bottom than the top. Once I've closed off, I run the yarn back through the body to make the leg stumps. This is a similar technique I used for the applin I made a few episodes back. Gonna be real honest, it looks like a pair of truck nuts right now. I better add the other features on quick. I make a white circle for the face. I do this slightly smaller than I need so that I can add the 2 long eyebrows and other feathers on. I do this by ending my round and turning, going back the other way. This leaves a missing wedge. I can then work on the brows. These are worked in rows. Once I reach the end of these rows, I make 3 small triangles and then crochet back down the sides until I reach my original round. Doing the same triangle pattern, I make 2 on each side of the face to act as the feather tufts. I do the same in reverse on the other side of the face and pin it to the body to check it out. My next step is to make the feathers on the back of the head. I crochet a long chain that reaches around the head and the edges can be hidden by the face feathers. I mentioned previously that I wanted to do this separately so that I could add texture. I do this by crafting triangular feathers along the chain like bunting. These can be worked in the front loops while I continue my rows in the back. Repeating this again with fewer feathers each time. I want the feathers to overlap the wings, so I work on those next. It's a pretty simple case of making a long tube that gets wider in the middle. I make 2 and flatten them down, stuffing them only lightly. I decide to go for the feet next. I wasn't sure how to go for the 2 pointy toes look. I made 1 small cone and then made a second. While still attached to the second toe, I crocheted into the first one, working around, and then came back into the second toe. This joined them up and created a round that I could follow. I stuff these lightly too so that they stay flat. I make 2 and pin everything to the body. I make a small circle for the belly button before I can make the beard that will overlap it. I had a basic idea for how I wanted to do the beard, so just went for it. I made this tombstone shape and then, as I've done so many times in this video, I work triangular feathers down the sides. It's a bit static and too angular for me, but I couldn't think of a better way to get this effect. I'm sure it would look better once it's all stitched together. I can add a bit of stuffing to give it a more 3D look. I make a small triangle in yellow for the beak and can now go for the main event, the tail sack. I started crocheting about 6 years ago now. The whole reason I picked it up was because I needed Christmas gifts for my Dungeons and Dragons group. I thought a dice bag would be the perfect gift, and I still have the very first thing I crocheted. I unfortunately don't play D&D anymore, but it holds all my dice in the hopes that I can one day play again. Since then, I've made a fair few bags and I hope you can see where I'm going with this story. I make the sack for Delibird in the same way I would do any dice bag I've made. My big problem comes when I need it to bend around the body. As it is, it's too stiff and wouldn't bend around unless scrunched up on the inner side. I looked around for solutions and found that short rows could be useful. I've never used this technique before, but it was simple enough to learn, turning your work, single crocheting in the same stitch, and then working along as you would a row, ending it a stitch early and repeating. You get this triangular shape that, when worked down the sides, give you a bend in your round. This tutorial by Hooked by Katie was so helpful and easy to follow. I think I messed up mine a little, but continue with the round anyway. Once I feel it's long enough, I use double crochets and skip stitches to make a place for a drawstring to run through. It looks an unusual shape, but once it's on the body, then it will fit well. I make a long chain for the drawstring and run it through the holes I made. I then grab some Velcro so that the wing can hold onto the sack, but also let go if need be. I can now stitch everything together. The final part is adding felt eyes, and Delibird is ready for the big day. Back in the game, Delibird shouldn't struggle too much at the possible challenges. Our options include the Electric Gym in Levincia and the Fire Starbase, both super effective against our penguin. On the other side of the map though is the opposite of Delibird, the dark and evil Krampus to Delibird's kind and caring Santa Claus. Of course I'm talking about the Titan Bombirdier. Where Delibird gives gifts and spreads joy, Bombirdier drops rocks on people for pleasure. Our ice typing should make short work of this evil stalk. I make my way there, stopping to get a look at this picnicking Goomy along the way. The path is treacherous, but Crocheting blasts past all of the rocks on Death Mountain, and we make it to the top where we are greeted by Big Bird himself. The trek uphill must have taken it out of poor Delibird, because she starts the first round by taking a nap. Bombirdier blasts us with a super effective rock throw. Delibird continues dreaming of sugar plum fairies, while Bombirdier switches inexplicably to wing attacks and pluck. After a few rounds, Delibird wakes up and delivers a powerful blizzard, chilling Bombirdier to the bone and winning round 1. As always, the Titan powers up with some Herba Mystica and is ready for round 2, where we are now joined by Arven and his Knackley. It's time to terrestrialise, making Delibird a pure ice type and praying that we can hit one more blizzard. It doesn't happen on turn 1. Delibird listens, but Blizzard misses. Bombirdier then torments us, preventing us from using moves twice in a row. This means that until Delibird hits another move, we're locked out of using Blizzard. Luckily, Bombirdier focuses mostly on Knackley, while we loaf around and disobey. Unfortunately though, Delibird decides she wants to take some damage and hits herself in confusion. Things are looking dire when Knackley is taken out, and Delibird hits herself once more. Bombirdier brings us down to red health before I heal up. Delibird continues with her disobedience, a very common thing in this whole badge quest. She sleeps again, and Bombirdier keeps up the chip damage. It's a real struggle to get through this, as many turns later, Delibird wakes up only to go straight back to sleep. I'll fast forward through this agonising ordeal as Delibird wakes up again, only to disobey and turn away. Finally, in a comical climax, Delibird pulls a present out of her sack and takes out Bombirdier's remaining HP. That was a rough one. Arven leads us into Bombirdier's lair to discover the bitter Herba Mystica. He uses it to make sandwiches for us, Crocheting, and most importantly, Mabostiff. Koraidon gains the ability to swim, and Mabostiff the ability to woof. Just 2 more Titans to take down before Mabostiff fully recovers. I head down the mountain and grab a Rockruff to trade for the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed going down this nostalgic Christmas episode in October with me. Let me know your favourite Pokemon Christmas memories in the comments, or what's the best Pokemon gift you've been given. I'd love to hear about it. Small outro for this one. This episode actually was going to be released like way back in July. I had this gameplay footage all filmed. It just took quite a while to actually get around to crocheting it, and then I did all the crochet in September and I was ready to release it then, but I wanted some Christmas footage, which I'm not sure if I'll include in this episode at all, just because it was old footage and I didn't have the means to digitize it. And then I got real sick, my throat, I had some issues with my throat, like I woke up very early one morning and my uvula had swollen, so I couldn't breathe properly. And yeah, like if I sound off in this episode, it's because I'm still just kind of recovering from that. That was like 2 weeks ago, and then I kind of threw my back out this past week, so I've just been lying down mostly, and I thought today I'll just kind of sit at my computer and blast out this voiceover and hopefully get some of the stuff edited. But yeah, hopefully I can try and get these out quicker. I'd like to get them out quicker. I've got the next Pokemon planned. I haven't been able to do much shiny hunting in between, like crocheting and work, and now that it's October I'm doing a lot of art. I'd like to get some stuff going. The next video will be another crochet one because I don't have any shiny hunting stuff planned just yet. I want to continue with Mousehold, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, thank you. If you're here to the end, please subscribe, like the video, comment. Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. See you next time.